So Katie and I have been married for 16 years. We've moved from Utah to Arizona to Texas to Alabama and back to Utah. During that time, she's had to change jobs through every state, but there's one thing that's constant. Every time Katie goes to a new job, and she's had, I don't know, 7 or 8 since we've been married because we're always moving. But every time, after a month or two, I meet someone from her work and they say to me, you know, when I met Katie or when I heard about Katie, I heard all this hype about how she was going to be so awesome, and I thought there's no way anybody could be that good. Nobody's that good. But then every single time they all say the same thing. But you know what? Not only is she that good, she's better than I had imagined her. She's been a star at every job she's been to. So if we hadn't moved so many times, and if she hadn't always been humble enough and nice enough to follow me every time I went to grad school or a new job, she'd be far more successful. She'd make a lot more money than I do, simply because of how talented she is. She just has a natural ability to connect with people and combine that with being a hard worker, and she's an instant star wherever she goes. Katie's also a great baker. She loves to bake rolls and cookies. In fact, her rolls are so good that they've become, they're called Katie rolls by all of my family and everybody that we've made them for, simply because there's no better name for them. Her cooking is outstanding.
All right, so when I was a little girl, most kids played with toys or went outside and played with their friends. But my favorite thing to do was to play money with my grandma. She lived through the Great Depression, and she had jars full of coins and cash hidden all throughout her house. And my favorite thing to do was to go and dump out the coins, and I would sort them all out, and then she would tell me a math problem and I would make change back to her. So from the time I was a very little girl, I was always fascinated with money, and so it's no surprise to anybody in my life that I ended up with a career in the financial world. And how I ended up in mortgages, I've always been fascinated with mortgages too. I think it's a really important time in your life when you're buying a house, whether it be your first house or your last house, and getting a mortgage is part of that process. So one of my goals as a processor at First Colony is to make sure that the loan officer and the customer are always informed about what's going on their file, and to make sure that we explain things. Getting a mortgage can be very invasive. You have to give a lot of documents, you have to give a lot of information about yourself. And so it can be frustrating if you don't understand why all of that documentation is needed, or why you have to provide all of that. So I find that just by explaining simply why documentation is required or why we need certain things, it helps the process go a little bit smoother.
I love my mom because whenever I have special events like dance or soccer games or something like that, she'll always be there for me. And I also love her because whenever I feel sad or something's going on in life, then I'll come to her, and then she'll make me feel better, and that's why I love my mom.
I love Mommy. I love my mommy's cookies.
Something my mom and I like to do together is CrossFit, because it's something that we both like to do together, and we go sometimes in the evening and we have a lot of fun together. And sometimes before or after CrossFit, or any time of the day really, we go and get So Delicious, and that's one of the things that we like to go do together because we both love So Delicious, and it's really fun to go with her. I have a good time talking with her and being with her like she's a friend.
Katie Keith. So Katie started here in September, and I've been doing mortgages for a really long time, like 16 years almost, at First Colony, and I can honestly say Katie is probably the best thing that's ever happened to me in my career. Katie just has an attitude and a light about her that is unmatched in this business. Her attitude, her personality are really enjoyable to be around. In fact, I like being around Katie so much that I've actually allowed her to work out with us at CrossFit at night. So she has infiltrated my life, not only at work, but into my everyday life as well. And again, even there, she's just so fun to be around, such a positive person. She just has an influence on people that is incredible. So Katie, I love you. Thank you for coming here. Thank you for all you do for me. Please don't ever leave me, okay?
We love